Hey there, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I want to go over the focus gems, how to actually place them on the Eternals, why they're important from a stats perspective, and a couple little hidden features that I wasn't quite aware of until just a couple days ago. So with that, let's just jump right in. All right, so to start using your focus gems, you actually need to go to the hall. They are going to be found on your Eternals. So what you have to do is go to your hall, grab an Incarnate. I'm going to use this Incarnate that I created here because I can go ahead and void it out later because I'm just using some junk parts. Not junk parts, but just parts I have that are duplicates that I have no problems losing. So you're going to go over to the Eternals here on these parts. So I have three parts that have one Eternal slot open each. You click on that, you get your Eternal menu here, and you start equipping Eternals. So I have a bunch of copies of Dark Fury, I think at a higher level. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to go ahead and use this 3-star Dark Fury. I'm going to go ahead and equip it. And again, remember when you equip, you're actually using Thread. So Thread's one of those key resources in the game that you're not going to want to waste. So you go ahead and equip it. It'll load up, and you have this option right now because it's a 3-star, it's Eternal. You have 3 focus gem slots, but right now they're not unlocked. So what you actually want to do is you want to go ahead and upgrade that Eternal. So you hit the upgrade button, and you can see that the gem slots right here, they're locked. So in order to unlock them, what's going to happen is you click that lock button, you hit yes, but what it's going to do, it's going to cost dust to unlock that slot. So yeah, I want to unlock it. There's the unlock. My next slot is going to cost me more dust. So I go ahead and unlock that. Yeah, my next one's going to cost even more dust. So you can see as you progressively unlock more gem slots on your Eternal, it's going to cost more dust. So again, dust is one of those resources that you just don't want to spend it, haphazardly. You want to actually have a plan for it for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. And now I have all nodes of this are unlocked. So the shapes here indicate the type of gem that you can actually put in them. You have the larger ones and the smaller ones. You have the triangles, which are representing the death. You have the circles representing the void. You have, I believe it's like, it's a diamond for the balance, and it's a trapezoid, I believe, for the life. So right now we only have the death and the void. One thing that's really important here, though, is that you can't equip them out of order. So you have to go from the top down. Usually they're going to kind of make a Z shape. Right now it's just left to right, so you have to go left to right. So if you actually try to equip a gem in this middle slot or this last slot, I'll go ahead and try that. It says focus not compatible with slot. What that really means, and I've already given feedback to be a little bit more clear, what that really means is that you can't equip a gem in this slot because you haven't equipped a gem in the one prior to it. So if you go over to the one at the very beginning, you can then go ahead and equip a gem. Right now, just don't really care what I'm equipping. So all I have to do is go ahead, select that gem that I want, and socket it. Again, socketing gems are going to cost thread. So this game is going to be, it really feels like it's going to be thread heavy that you're going to be spending to make upgrades to your Incarnates. So especially when you get into the real game, thread is probably going to be one of those more scarce resources that you're definitely going to want to have a plan for. But since it's alpha and, our accounts are going to get wiped anyways, I'll just spend it however I want. So I'm going to go ahead and socket this. You can see that it does socket. I got that plus 2% max HP, and I had an opportunity to go 2 to 3%. I rolled the weaker one. It is what it is, but you have a little bit of RNG there. That's what kind of makes it a little bit more exciting because you can get some just sick, godly pieces out of your Eternals if you hit some decent RNG. So now I'm going to move on to that second slot. And it's gonna be the void piece, and I can go ahead and use any of them. So I'll just use this one for the max HP again. I've got an opportunity to go 1 to 2%. So I'll go ahead and socket that. There we go. And the last one here is the smaller death piece. Now you're gonna realize, hopefully you realize here that I have a 3-star Eternal. So I'm actually limited to the gems that I can actually place in this. I can't place a gem that is 4-star or above. It has to be 3-star or below. So your eternal quality limits the quality of gems that you can actually put in. So if you got a 3-star copy of Dark Fury compared it to a 6-star copy of Dark Fury, not only is that 6-star going to have more gem slots available to it, but it's going to allow you to place better quality gems in each one of those slots. So you're going to always want to be on the lookout for those higher star rating Eternals. You're always going to want to be on the lookout for the higher star rating gems, because it's going to make a significant difference down the road from a stat perspective. You effectively are going to get probably 4 times the stats effectively, because you can get probably double the stat value just from the quality of gems, plus double the actual stat slots from having more focus gem slots available on those 6 stars. So it's almost an exponential increase as you go up, which is pretty cool. Last, I'm just going to go ahead and pop another one in there, and that is it. So I didn't see anything come up here, but one thing that you want to take note of, and I will show you how to do that on a different Incarnate. Yeah, I have one right here. I think it's on Sea Council. Go ahead and upgrade. I want you to pay attention to this one, because the affinity type of the Incarnate actually matters for the gem affinity that you're putting in. This is something I didn't know about until just a few days ago when I was messing around with this. It's like, oh wow, that's a pretty cool feature. But you can see here that I have a death affinity Incarnate, and that's why I was kind of harping on this a little bit in the other video on the Forge and the Hall. You want to see this banner. The Incarnate that you see on this Eternal page, you can't see their little affinity icon, but you can see the banner on their stats. So again, the purple one is going to be the death affinity, the green is going to be void, the blue is going to be life, and the orange or gold is going to be the balance affinity. So you want to understand that, because this tells you what affinity type Incarnate it is, and you want to try to find potentially, Eternals that have slots that match the affinity of the Incarnate that you're putting on, because you can see right here, I've got 3 of these slots that are death affinity gems matched up with a death affinity Incarnate, and they get a bonus to those stats because the affinities match. So that's huge. I mean, if you can find an Eternal, right, that has all of the same affinity types and they match the Incarnate affinity that you're putting it on, you have potential to, again, increase your stats where other people might not be able to. So again, there's some RNG flavor here for which specific gem slots you actually get on these Eternals, and you can end up with a just insanely powerful Incarnate with the right RNG. That's another thing that I probably haven't made super clear in the past, and what I want to do now is that the gem slot that are available, they're random. I don't know if there's some limitations on the randomness, but from what I found, they're pretty random. So to illustrate the point that they're random, I have 2 Eternals that are the same Eternals. They're the same star ratings, but you can see that the gems down here on the card are actually different. So if I highlight that, I've got kind of the major death one, the minor life one, and the minor void one. But this one, I have the minor balance, the major death, and the minor life. And depending on your RNG and stuff like that, you're going to find Eternals that have the same ability, say same passive ability, but could be way more powerful for a specific incarnate that you're actually building because the gem slots line up better for that particular incarnate. So be careful with that. Again, it's one of those things that you're going to have to kind of think through a little bit as you're socketing up your Eternals. You want to understand what possibilities you have from a stat increase perspective from those Eternals. And I'll have an infographic out soon, whether it's a couple weeks or a month away. I'll have an infographic out there when the focus gems are final and explaining which stats are available on each of the gems. That way you have a resource you can go to understand which stats you'll get if you socket that Eternal. So it's just another really kind of cool feature of the game that, yeah, it is a little bit of RNG there, but that's kind of what makes these games exciting, is that you have a little bit of luck involved to get some just insanely sick builds out there. And I can't wait to see some of the drops and builds that people put together, especially if they get a little bit lucky with the exact gems that they actually want to see on those Eternals. So that's the Eternals piece. Let's just double check. There's nothing else really out here that you need to be aware of besides the menu. You can go ahead and scroll up and down on the menu. It'll only show you, if you click on the slots themselves, it'll only show you the gems that can actually go into those slots. We can see right here, it's showing all of my gems that I have. The ones that I can't place on this Eternal are just grayed out. But it is showing all the focus gems that I do have. And all you have to do is just click and drag up and down. I'm sure on mobile, it's just a swipe up and down when the mobile platform comes out. But that's how you find those. There's no filter button yet, but I would assume that there's going to be a filter option coming in the future to make it a little bit easier. You can compress or collapse the menus. That does help, especially if you know which specific stats you're looking for, because if you know which stats are on the gems, you can go ahead and search through these menus on the left-hand side a little bit easier. With that should be all of the features of upgrading your Eternals by placing focus gems. All right, so that was pretty kind of a detailed breakdown of the focus gems. Again, I didn't go into the stats that the focus gems provide because they're not 100% final yet. When they are, I'll create an infographic that gives you exactly what those Eternal focus gems can provide you. I hope this kind of illustrated the point that the focus gems in this game are going to be massive. They allow you to completely customize the stats that you have on your incarnates. If you get good RNG on the back of those Eternals for the specific gem slots or gem types that you want, you actually start getting just min-max like crazy. And I'm sure there are going to be a ton of people out there that love to min-max that will be grinding this game for some very specific Eternals. It's going to be another fun part of the game. I look forward to it for sure. But again, I hope it illustrated the point that you need to put some thought into how you're going to go ahead and use these focus gems in these Eternals, which Eternals you actually want to go find, and actually spending your resources a bit wisely. Because if you spend them haphazardly, you're going to run out of resources real quick in the game, at least from what I can tell. Again, the game is not live, but it's pretty easy to see that you're going to run out of resources really quick if you're not careful. So just put some thought into it. And, in the future, I'm sure myself and other content creators will have some good guides and some advice on what you should be looking for. I know I definitely will. Again, if you like this video and you found it helpful and informative, there's a like button if you want to use it. Feel free to subscribe if you want. Would definitely help out. And toss some comments down below if if you like the RNG style, if you don't like the RNG style. Let me know. It's always good to feedback to the developers. I'm sure you saw some of the ranges on those gems as well. I'm going to take a deeper look into those later for sure, and see which ones feels right, because I know there are other games where you have so much RNG and such a broad range or a wide range of stats that you can get on those gems. It makes it feel pretty terrible when you roll something like 3 times and you end up not getting the stats that you want, stat increase that you want. One thing I did kind of forget to mention in the video itself is that you can replace those gems by adding gems on top of them. Again, it's going to cost a resource, but gives you an opportunity to kind of re-roll that gem, if you will, on that Eternal. So it's not completely locked in place. You can replace it, but the focus gem that was there previously is gone forever. You don't get the resources back. So again, just re-emphasizing the fact that you need to think through how you're going to go ahead and socket these Eternals. With that, as always, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.